right, calculus. Let's get ready for our quiz. So you can see the breakdown of our quiz will be a section of basic derivatives and integrals. Those are all multiple choice. 6 derivatives, E and natural log, product rule, quotient rule, chain rule. 6 integrals, E and natural log with some easy U substitutions. Then the advanced derivatives will be implicit differentiation, and then the integrals all mixed up, divide by a monomial, U sub, inverse tangent, and synthetic division. So a couple things to review. Here is a little bit more detailed breakdown of what you will see as far as derivatives. Here's a little bit more detailed breakdown of what you will see as far as integrals. Make sure you memorize that inverse tangent. And then today we are going to do the integral procedures and look at how to distinguish between the different types. So if you want to do a quick review of derivatives, pause right now, write down these 3 problems and do those. Take the derivative of each of those and then unpause and I will give you the answers. So here we have the answers to the first 2 derivatives. First one's quotient rule. Simplify, factored out in x cubed and was able to simplify there. And then number 2, expand that natural log first. Otherwise you get into a messy quotient rule, chain rule issue. But if you expand first, then it's significantly easier. Implicit, if you did not see to expand first, it was not too bad. But if you expand first, it's a little bit easier. So that's both different ways right there. Okay, so rules of integration. They all start to look the same. So kind of the 4-step process to go through is first look to divide by a monomial. That's a single term on the bottom. If not, look to see if that's a quick natural log. That would be a constant over a linear. If not that, then look to see if that's inverse trig. That would be a constant over a quadratic, possibly completing the square, but not on our quiz. And then if all else fails, do U substitution, and synthetic division pops into that if the degree on top is greater than or equal to the degree on the bottom. So if you look at these examples right here, I can't make that all fit. We're going to do these 6 problems, and they all look kind of the same, but we're going to use all these different processes here. So this first one, first thing we look for in our steps is to divide by a monomial, which we can't. That's not a single term on the bottom. So then we look to see if it's a quick natural log, which would be a constant over a linear, which it is not. And so we look to see if it's inverse trig, which is a constant over a quadratic, which it is. And so we know that this 4 is what makes our a squared, so a is 2. And so our integral is 3, our constant, over a, which is 2, arctangent, x over 2, plus c. So that's how you recognize that as the arctangent or inverse tangent. Okay, on the next one, first, we're going to look for divide by a monomial, which that is. And so our first step is to simplify the integral or change the look of it. So x squared over x is just x plus 4. Some might want to write that as x to the negative 1. I'm going to write that as 4 over x so that I'm not tempted to use power rule. And so now we take the integral of that. The integral of x is 1/2 x squared. And the integral of 4 over x is 4 natural log absolute value x plus c. All right, our third one here, we cannot divide by a monomial. That is not a constant over a linear, or it is a constant over a linear. And so that's just a quick natural log. So that's a constant on top, that's a 3 on top, that's a linear on the bottom, so that's natural log of 4x plus 1. Derivative of the inside is 4, and so we put a 1/4 out front, so that's a 3/4 out front, plus c. All right, then we look at this one here, which you'll notice is the reciprocal of this second one that we did here. but that totally changes that problem. So it's not divide by a monomial. It is not a quick natural log. It is not a constant over a linear. It is not a inverse trig. That is not a constant over a quadratic. That's actually a linear over a quadratic. And so now we're down to U substitution or synthetic. Synthetic division can only be used if it's bigger on top or the same, which it's not. And so then we have to use U substitution here. And so we're going to let U equal the bottom, which is x squared plus 4. So du, the derivative of that is 2x dx. We look back up at our problem and we only want x dx, so we're going to divide by 2. So 1/2 du is x dx. And so then we rewrite here to see what we have. We have the integral of 1/2. We have a u on the bottom, du. So when we take the integral of that, we get 1/2 natural log absolute value of u plus c. And then we want to go ahead and put our x's back in. So 1/2 natural log absolute value x squared plus 4 plus c. So on our next one, that is not divide by a monomial. Constant over a linear, it is not. Constant over a quadratic, it is not. So this is U substitution or synthetic division. And we can do synthetic division because the degrees are equal. And so we want to do x plus 2 divided by x plus 4. So in our synthetic division, we put a -4 out front. And this is just 1 and 2. This is a real quick and easy drop the baby mama. So we drop the 1, and -4 times 1 is -4. Add down, that's -2. So x plus 2 over x plus 4 divided by x plus 4 is 1 minus 2 over x plus 4. That rewrite is what allows us to take that integral. So now we're talking about the integral of 1 minus 2 over x plus 4 dx, and we can go ahead and take the integral of that, which is going to be x minus 2 natural log absolute value x plus 4 plus c. All right, then this last one, it is not divide by a monomial. Constant over a linear, it is not. Constant over a quadratic, it is not. So this is U substitution or synthetic division, and we can do synthetic because the degree on top is bigger. And so we're going to divide by x plus 2. So we put a -2 out front. We have x squared plus 4, so that's 1, 0 for the x term, then 4. Drop the 1. Multiply -2 times 1 is -2. Add down to get -2. Multiply to get 4. Add down to get 8. So x squared plus 4 divided by x plus 2 is x minus 2 plus that remainder of 8 over x plus 2. So again, this just allows us to rewrite our integral as x minus 2 plus 8 over x plus 2 dx. So the integral of that, then each piece, the integral of x is 1/2 x squared minus 2x plus 8 natural log absolute value x plus 2 plus c. So there we have 3 different of the U substitutions. And then we had arctangent to start with. We had divide by a monomial, and then we had quick reverse chain rule. So that's all our different types. So now here I have some for you to do. There's 5 different problems right there. So I would go ahead and pause and write those down and go through this process. And then you can unpause and I will have all the answers for you. Okay, so hopefully you actually did pause and didn't ignore me and are just skipping to the answers. But here you go. The first one was U sub, and then the next one's a quick natural log. Third one's divide by a monomial, and then we have synthetic division and arctangent. So a little bit of all of those. Hope that was helpful, and I will be in later for any questions. Have a good day.